Okay, let's just jump right in with a pretty wild idea. What if the real key to growth wasn't stability, but managed chaos? Today, we're digging into this fascinating concept called the TAN paradigm. It suggests that the only way to get to a higher level, whether we're talking business or just life, is by intentionally pushing things right to the edge. First things first, let's talk about something we all do. We're pretty much hardwired to fight against chaos, right? I mean, in our jobs, our companies, our lives, the goal is always stability. We want things to be predictable. We see chaos as the enemy, something we have to stamp out. And this is where it gets really interesting. You've got two completely opposite ways of looking at this. The normal view, what's called here the human limit, is simple. Chaos breaks stuff. It's destructive. End of story. But the TAN paradigm comes along and just flips that whole idea on its head. It says, nope, you've got it all wrong. Chaos isn't the destroyer, it's the creator. It's the only thing that can build something new and stronger. So, this all builds up to the paradigm's central claim. And honestly, it's one that's going to make you pause for a second. This isn't just a small tweak in your thinking. It's a fundamental challenge to the way we've always approached solving problems and making progress. And there it is, straight from the source. Albert Tan, the guy who came up with this, lays it out plain and simple. He says he doesn't fix problems to make things calm again. He actually throws a wrench in the works on purpose. He creates problems. And the first thing you have to ask is, why? Why on earth would anybody do that? Well, believe it or not, the answer isn't just some quirky business theory. It's actually rooted in some serious Nobel Prize-winning science that explains how complex systems, we're talking everything from a single cell to an entire company, actually grow and evolve. The name you need to know here is Ilya Prigozhin. He won a Nobel in chemistry, and his work is basically the key that unlocks this whole idea. It's what explains why Tan's idea, which sounds kind of crazy at first, might actually be brilliant. Prigozhin's science is the engine that makes this whole paradigm run. Okay, so Prigozhin discovered something he called dissipative structures, and this is the core idea you have to get. These are systems, like living things or businesses, that are open to the world around them. And here's the kicker, they don't get better when everything's calm. They only evolve when they're put under stress. What Prigozhin proved is that a system that's in perfect balance, or equilibrium, is actually stagnant. Sure, it's predictable, but it's not learning anything. It's not adapting. He even had a term for where this leads, heat death. It's basically a state where everything is the same and nothing new can ever happen. It's a total dead end. But this is where the magic happens. When you push a system far away from that peaceful, balanced state, when you flood it with energy and stress, yeah, you get chaos. It's messy. It's unpredictable. But that chaos is the only condition where real creativity and evolution can happen. It's the chance for new life. So, if we're saying that creating chaos is the secret sauce, how does that actually work? How do you go from a complete mess to something that's actually better and more complex than what you started with? Well, it's kind of like a three-step process. First, you introduce the stress. You push the system way out of its comfort zone. Second, and this is absolutely critical, the system has to survive that chaos without completely collapsing. And third, if it makes it through, it doesn't just go back to normal. No way. It spontaneously reorganizes itself into something new, a higher-level structure that's now built to handle that kind of stress. And that right there is the make or break moment. Surviving the chaos is the trigger. It's the intense pressure of just trying to hold it together that forces a system to innovate, to find a new way to exist. Without that struggle, there's just no reason to change. That big leap to a higher level, it's impossible. Okay, so with all that science in our back pocket, let's circle back to what Albert Tan said. That really provocative statement from the beginning, it's probably going to make a whole lot more sense now. See, when Tan says he isn't breaking the company, he's talking about this exact process. He's deliberately engineering what he calls a Prigozhinic leap. Yep, named right after Ilya Prigozhin. He's applying just enough stress to force the organization to survive, adapt, and rebuild itself into something stronger, more capable, more complex. So the big takeaway here is that we have to completely reframe how we look at this stuff. That stability we all crave, it might just be stagnation in disguise. And the chaos we're all so afraid of, that could be our single greatest opportunity to create something new. Real growth, the kind that matters, doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It only happens when we're pushed far away from it. And that leaves us with a pretty challenging question for all of us to think about. In your work, your team, even your own life.
Where are you clinging to an equilibrium that's actually holding you back? Where are you playing it so safe that you're preventing that necessary leap to a higher level? And where might a little bit of intentional chaos be exactly what you need?